Today's cocktail is the gimlet. The gimlet consists of 1 1/4 ounce of gin and 1/4 ounce of lime juice, shaken with ice and strained into a chilled cocktail glass. This classic variation on the martini is flavorful and citrusy in nature. Anytime you mix gin with the citrus, you get a nice flavor combination that works. It's a little bit herbal and a little bit tangy, and it works very well for most people's palates. So, as always, we urge you to drink responsibly, but if you have the opportunity, feel free to try the gimlet. Thanks. What up, folks? It's me, the Killer Bee, the Africanized honeybee, the fat man, Mr. Excitement, Mr. Dynamite, Mr. Lush, mid-afternoon drinking. Let's jump right into it. I've got my fabulous co-host with me as always, May. What up, May?
What's the deal, son? I love mid-afternoon drinking. I mean, it might make me a lush, but whatever.
I guess technically it's late afternoon, but I've been painting. I've been doing housework all day, like home improvement type shit. So I've earned the drink.
I ran this morning, and so it's hot as Hades outside, and I needed to do a 10-miler. And so I thought it would be perfect after my run to test this theory that the mango Ciroc would taste really good with the mango sweet tea. And I feel like for research, this is cocktails and crankshafts, like I needed to do that. So, I mean,
I feel like that's too much mango, but yeah, go for it.
It was heavy on the mango, but I'm into the fruity, but I liked it.
Okay. So, elephant in the room, it is the 6th of June, 2020, and you and I are both African-American type people, and there's a lot of shit going on right now.
Hence the drinking at 10 a.m. after my run.
That obviously impacts more than just us. This is an American thing. It's not just a Black American thing. But I'm not going to dig too deeply into that because by the time this episode airs, hopefully, we'll be behind the summer of discontent and be moving on towards credible solutions, long-term solutions to what is America's number 2 original problem. You know, we've got 2 original sins, and obviously the historical context of being African American in this country is the second of those 2 sins. The first one obviously being a native or indigenous person in the context of this country.
Because that was going to be my question, because I feel like this is the original sin, but I do believe that the colonization of the native people is probably bigger.
Fraudulent country on someone else's land, and then the stealing of other people. So I do rate the invasion of North America as the first of the 2 sins of this nation. But
I respect that.
We're not going to dig deep into that. In fact, we're going to move on right now. We're still in COVID season, and
which folks act like they forgot.
My state is still trending up, but just this morning I posted a post because I drove by I'll go ahead and say it. I drove by a Cars and Coffee event this morning when I went to Walmart at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Cars and Coffee sounds fun.
No, not in a global pandemic.
Well, no, nothing is fun in this global pandemic.
Folks was out though. You could tell it was pent up. Folks were happy to be outdoors with their cars, and I get that, but I didn't see a lot of people wearing masks, and I saw even fewer people social distancing. So I drove by at a nice distance, took a couple of shots from the car, and went on about my way because I'm not ready to go there yet. Anyway, whatever. Let's get into the meat of this topic. We are going to talk about April 2007, Miami, Florida, NOPI drift. And so this was April of 2007. So I had the St. Louis event a month or 2 later. I was living in the Midwest at the time. However, my younger sister resided in Miami-Dade County, and since I had a free place to stay, right from the airport, why not?
I mean, when in doubt.
Right. So, and also, April is still not really warm where I was living in the Midwest. I mean, it's not frozen frigid anymore, but it's not warm yet. So
No.
I relish the opportunity to go get some warm weather and see some Miami bodies. And I flew down, and the event was at, Joe Player Pro Shark Land Dolphin Sun Rock Miami Life Hard Roby Stadium.
Baptist Church.
Yeah, I believe at that particular point in time, it was officially called Dolphin Stadium. But within my lifetime, that place has had a bunch of names, starting with Joe Robbie. And I think in its current iteration, it's Hard Rock or Sun Life or Land Shark. I don't even know. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's the same. It's the Miami Dolphins home stadium. At that time in 2007, my sister lived 6 miles away. I literally went out of the front of her neighborhood, made a left turn onto the major thoroughfare, and then I made another left a couple of lights down, about 4 miles down, and then I made a right into the stadium with literally 3 turns.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, just go down to, I don't know what it was, Northwest 26th or something. She's like, you'll see it, and then just make a left at the light, and then, go a couple miles, and you'll see a sign that says Dolphin Stadium. And sure enough, and I got to drive her, but still though, nicer than what I had back in Iowa.
There you go.
So this event was a drift only, well, not a drift only, but this event didn't have drag racing because obviously Dolphin Stadium is not a racetrack, it's a football stadium with a large parking lot. So we had the pro drifting, we had the car show, we had the swimsuit contest, and the infamous NOPI Freak Show, which I did not even attend. And I'm trying to think, night one was maybe, because I promised my sister I'd be back home at a reasonable hour where we could go get dinner or hang out with her friends or her boyfriend, or there was some social event I had promised to do with them. And then Sunday afternoon, before we could get to the finals of the bikini contest, it started raining cats and dogs in the way that only Miami can, and they actually had to move the bikini contest from the NOPI main stage, which does not have appropriate rain covering, over to an auxiliary stage, which was like a pop-up truck trailer kind of thing, like a radio DJ might use or something. And it had a little deeper rain cover, although it was barely large enough to get all the girls on stage at once. It was kind of hilarious. They were all crowded in. But this was a celebrity sighting event because Hulk Hogan was there. For those that don't remember, this was during the Hogan Knows Best TV show period when they were on VH1.
When he was at the height of his new
reality
fame.
And son Nick had a brand new Formula D drift license that he was into the drifting thing. He was 17, I guess, at the time, 16, 17. So he was big into the drifting thing and had started doing the NOPI tour fairly regular, even though he was qualified for Formula D. But Formula D didn't have events every weekend, so he was able to sort of bounce back and forth between the two series. Because Nick was, a celebrity and on TV regularly. I mean, he wasn't near as famous as his dad, obviously, but he's on TV every week, and that helps. So he had a lot of sponsors considering his, shall we say, skill level. But at one point he was signed to Dodge, even though they dropped him later. He had Polaroid, he had Mac Tools, BF Goodrich, and Sparco.
Oh, he was all the way sponsored.
Yeah, and his dad had a long-standing relationship with Dodge and being seen in public driving Dodge Vipers. So I'm sure there was some, you know how that goes. Old boy network, however you want to call it. But he got dropped from all that stuff around August of 2007 when he had a very nasty wreck, which severely injured a friend of his that was in the car and resulted in criminal charges and felony charges, actually. And he had a blood alcohol level, even though he was a minor. Yeah, well, it wasn't good. I saw part of the trial. The worst part of it to me was, the kid was 17, right? So somehow the call from the jail to his mom, I mean, he was crying and sobbing. I mean, you know, he was 17.
Yeah.
And that shit got leaked to the media. Because I remember hearing it on TV and I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That's some dirty shit.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
I mean, and I don't sanction what he was doing, but we've all been 17. I blame his dad. 17-year-olds don't need 600 horsepower street cars to drive around.
Nope.
You know, but I've been 17 and I was 17 and stupid with the car. The difference was the car I drove when I was 17 had like 87 horsepower.
Right. The car I was driving at 17, you know, could barely switch lanes. I mean,
which is another episode. I'll get into that car later. But to continue on with the NOPI thing, I know even though we've branched over into the Nick Hogan thing, you know, he did actually, sir, he was sentenced, he pleaded no contest and was sentenced to what, like 6 months in jail and 5 years of probation and 500 hours of community service, or I guess it was 8 months. He ended up serving 6, I guess it was, and there was some even controversy with that because he was a minor, so he's supposed to be in juvie, and then the lawyers petitioned for him to be segregated because he was a celebrity, and I think that was denied. But when he turned 18, they moved him to. It was a bunch of shit, you know, just a bunch of bullshit. And I only have but so much sympathy because I have some family members who have been in the system, and let's just say Nick got treated a lot better than anybody of my persuasion.
Oh, I'm
probably
sure.
be treated. But he ended up getting released early, and he was released from his probation at about 4 years. So I assume he's gone on with his life now. Obviously, because of the divorce and the TV show going off, and his dad going back to wrestling and all of that. Brooke showed up on some of the wrestling shows. I haven't heard hide nor hair of Nick since the accident. So
no, they all sort of just faded away.
Maybe he just went undercover. And I can't say I blame him. But the big man himself, Mr. Hogan, was there, and that was interesting because despite being a wrestling fan and having been to see pro wrestling live, I grew up in WCW, Jim Crockett Promotions country, more or less. So I had seen, you know, Lex Luger, Ric Flair, Steiner Brothers, those kind of guys live and in person. But I had never seen Hulk Hogan in person. And this was, you know, old, broke down, retired Hulk Hogan. So he wasn't looking, you know, you're right, he's still big as hell, but he wasn't looking great. You could tell by the way he was walking that he had back issues, knee issues, and I think this might have been after his, you know, second or third hip surgery. But
he's probably pretty beat up.
Yeah, he was a little bit standoffish, and you know, when he wasn't quote unquote on, he just looked a little like he wasn't the dude you wanted to mess with. But I know I was watching. He spoke to some veterans. He spoke to some first responders, and when he was with those folks, he was, you know, signing autographs and very animated, and, you know, sort of more in his public persona, so to speak. But his boy Bubba the Love Sponge was there, and Bubba was made a honorary swimsuit bikini judge, and Bubba's an odious.
Well, tell me how you really feel.
Let me stop, because you know, him and Awesome Kong got into some stuff. Amazing Kong, Kia Stevens, whatever you want to call her, Karma. When she was at TNA, her and Bubba had a situation, and as I understand it, Miss Stevens put hands on Mr. Love Sponge.
Yeah.
You have to look up her YouTube shoot interviews to get the details on that, but yeah. I had fun at this event, even with the pressure of sort of, you know, running, you know, trying to tie in a visit with my sister and respect the fact that I was staying in her house for free, which meant I probably needed to spend some family time with her
just
while
a little
I was
bit
attending this event. Good trip, had fun. The rained out bikini contest didn't bother me. Missing the freak show didn't bother me. You know, like I said with Rockingham, once you've done the foam pit thing as a older, heavier, fully clothed man, it's not. that's not a scene for me. I just, there's no other way
Not
to
quite
put
a
it.
thing anymore.
It's not even worth standing around to film it. I mean, thank you for watching Cocktails and Crankshafts. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell icon, and we'll see you soon with new content.